What's up, everyone? We're live and we're ready to go. Today's lesson is a game changing lesson, and it's one that Rick already practices frequently. And what's super cool about this lesson, I actually remembered thinking about it in Gateway to Mastery. And Gateway to Mastery is a group of real estate agents coming together and just taking it to the next level, taking it to that 1%. Because the truth is, we all want to get to the 1%. And the question is, how do you get to that 1%? And being a competitive ed specialist and a person, as Rick says, Pono's Rick, Pono's Cliff, and we're going to go Pono with you today. We want you to get to the 1% too. And here's the thing. Everyone can get to the 1%. Because the truth is, the lessons that you learn are going to be different for each person. They're going to be applied differently for each person. So instead of, I already know that, ask yourself the question, how does this apply to me? When you can ask yourself the question, how does this apply to me? That's when we show up. And we show up fully, and we show up present, and we show up ready to go.
Dude, I didn't know what you were going to go with. I'm sitting here waiting to the way we're talking. Like, you had a plan. You already knew where you wanted to go. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, just show me where we're going to go because let's go place. Are you ready? Well, I'm always ready. I'm always ready.
I'm always ready.
I'm always
and
ready.
That is why I call this man. What's up, Adele? What's up, DJ? Hey, thanks for showing up. We appreciate you.
Aloha.
So Rick didn't know where this was going. But what Rick said is, I'm always ready.
Yeah.
And I did that on purpose. And this is why. Life is life. And some people may be saying, Cliff, what the hell does that mean? In life, you get two options. You can react or you can respond. That is it. Because everybody's looking for this perfect laid out game plan that they can put in their pocket and they know will work every single time. And the truth of the matter is, that shit's not real.
Yep.
I do not have a game plan to get you into the UFC in a year. I do not have a game plan that will have you lose weight instantly. But what I can do is remind you of the amazing creator that you are. What I can do is remind you that you can be resourceful and that you do have resources that you didn't even know that you had. And what I can do is remind you that even with COVID here or whatever problem may be going on, that you can look within and you can find answers and you can find execution. And you can make days better. Because the truth is, greatness within is not always easy. It's a challenge. It's tough, but it's fun and it's worth it. And with the highs and the lows, we come together and we do what we need to do. And so I'm going to show up and Rick's going to show up and we hope you show up for yourself and for us. I'm going to show up for me, and I want you to show up for you.
It sounds like we're going to play a little game today. It sounds like we've already been playing a little game. It sounds like life is so much more fun when it's a game, though, right? I mean, if you take this thing too seriously, you're going to get knocked out. You get too rigid. So what's up, Charles? Good to see you, bro. Thanks for tuning in for promoting. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. This is what makes it fun. Like, I love to spend time with my dear friend Clifford because I know I'm always going to learn something new, and I'm always going to be surprised. So this is always ready, being ready to show up for your life, to show up for me. It's a state of mind. It's a state of being. You're right, Clifford. You're either responding or you're reacting. You're either in trigger, you're either projecting your own shit, onto somebody else, or you're receiving. You're either open to the world, you're either open, or you're closed down. And that's it's really that simple. But we overcomplicate this thing, and we make up all these excuses. And I'm just speaking for my own self, like, because I feel like I've given myself enough excuses to just, show up and run into the freaking fire, because that's where all the action is,
Yeah.
baby. And it's through the other side of it. Like, so you get okay being uncomfortable. Like, I hear people talk all the time, like, I'm just uncomfortable. I don't like this. I don't like where I'm at. I don't like being here. I don't like looking at myself like this. I don't like feeling the way I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good. That's a great place to start. You know what you don't like. All right. Celebrate the hell out of that right now. You know what the hell you don't like. This is good. This is a good thing. You're uncomfortable. Get
Absolutely.
used to being uncomfortable. Get used to it. Life is uncomfortable. You're in constant transition. Now, that doesn't mean it don't have to be Pono.
Yeah.
I mean, because the truth is we're always in this transition. And when you can get really, really comfortable, and pretty soon you're all aware of all of the different pieces, all of the different things. It's all for you. It's not against you. Now, how do you help somebody get that when they're so far off the rail that they're still in the place of blame? Because this is a challenge here. I recognize that I'm different.
Yeah.
All right. I recognize that I can connect, and then I can just go way over the freaking top and be like, miss the mark because I was on my own shit. I wasn't paying attention to what somebody else needed in that moment. I wasn't there. I was in my own head. And part of this deep work is actually being able to make get out of the ego aspect of it, still maintain an ego aspect of it, be aware of it, because you can't, again, I'm trying to go way too deep with the ego, because the ego we have to have it in order to exist. The objective isn't like, get rid of it, you're bad, go away, suffer, die. No, it's the ego is actually, it's a wonderful thing. You would not experience incarnation, being incarnate without the ego. So the objective isn't, demolish it. The objective is it going to serve something greater than you? Are you going to give it the power to serve something greater than you?
Yeah, absolutely. You said something interesting about not knowing what you want. You're in the right place if you at least know what you don't want. And so ultimately, the most powerful thing that I know of is if a person can be aware, that's a game changer. Awareness is a game changer. But it's so complex to be aware. If I told someone, how out of shape do you think you are if you were just sitting on the couch? Like, you can't know, because you're not doing anything. But I have you do some jumping jacks, and all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm in shape, or, oh my God, I'm in terrible shape. I didn't know it was this bad. Because the action lets you see who you are. Your actions let you see who you are. And so ultimately, we are all things at all times. And the question is, what actions are you going to take to be the thing that you want to be? I talk about think it, say it, act it. Think it, say it, act it. Respond. And the best thing with responding is, well, Cliff, what if I react? Well, you just learned, why did you react? Ask, well, why did I react? And what can I do different instead of reacting next time? How can I respond next time? What would have been the proper response?
I think that that's where your physical training, like the physical work you do, the kinesthetic work, it for those who don't practice that, like don't practice the workouts or the it adds so much more to your world. It connects blocks that look, you're not aware right now because you're not experiencing that. But when you do actually get into your body, you start feeling everything. I've
Oh
I
yeah.
just I get to live vicariously through my friend. Like I did, you know, dude's in shape like nobody I've ever seen. And I'm approaching 50. That's the truth. I mean, I'm approaching 50. It's a couple years away. And
Mhm.
I'm looking in the mirror and I'm looking at my abs and I'm looking at my wife and she goes, "Oh yeah, all right, all right, all right." And I'm going, what is it I want to see when I look in the mirror? And
Amen.
bro, it's like I want her to look at me and
Like
I want her to look at me and go,
a damn,
damn, like I'll just stand there like, come
damn,
on, baby. Yeah.
damn.
Damn.
Like I get off on that because you look. I just turned 40, and you saw my picture with my shirt off, and I want to look even better. I'm not done.
No,
I'm
I'm not
just
done.
getting started.
Just
Yeah.
getting started.
And it's great when people want to put a label on you, like an age or whatever, like, because that's what they're going to do. They can't help themselves. They're doing the best that they can, just like everybody else is. And so ultimately, all I want anyone to do is live their fullest truth. When they ask a question, say, what do you want? What do you want? I want to be, I had one client I was working with, and hers was more in the physical component than the mental. And she was asking, she said she wanted to be healthy. And I go, is that what you really want? And she goes, honestly, I want to look sexy in the mirror. Or why didn't you just say that? He goes, I didn't want to seem vain or arrogant. And the truth is, the more we say what we want, like, what do we want? We'll get what we need. There's other parts to it and there's other things to it. But if we just say what we want and we say it out loud and we say it with conviction, then we'll start taking the actions. Don't let the rest of the world or the crowd dictate what your want should be and how they should be. Show up for you.
Yeah. And so let's go back to this whole victim mentality because I got a friend here that I know that can help me, and I love this guy, right? Because he sees you when you don't see yourself. That's what I love about this guy. I could throw him in the ring with anybody, and he's gonna find their sweet spot. I don't know how he does it, right? I mean,
Mhm.
and he puts himself there at that place, and so talk to me about people that are stuck in a place of blame, where they're still blaming others, where they haven't quite taken responsibility for their world, and their program is still in a place where, look, somebody screwed me. I got fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
What I love is I say there's several different truths, right? And if that's their truth, then I lead them down the path of what will happen if that truth remains. Because yeah, you get the option to be a victim. I can't stop you from being a victim. If that's what you want to be, that's what you want to be. But if you want to feel like a leaf in the river of life and you just want to float by and let whatever happens happen to you, okay. I mean, that's the world you're going to live in. And then I introduce a new possibility. What if there was a different way? What if you could see it a little bit differently? What if? You don't force things, you just let them sit. Because the same thing with there's reacting and responding. And I'm very good at responding. I'm very good at it because I've practiced it kinesthetically, I've practiced it mentally, and I've practiced it emotionally. We become what we practice. And what I do is I just show up day in and day out. And even a victim can no longer be a victim, because if something was implanted, it can also be taken out.
Dude, DJ just put this up. She says, if you want to be a victim, be a victim. Truth bomb. You be a victim on your own time, man. Just not in my space. Like
That's the beauty of it. Like, that is the beauty of the game, is I get to choose. Okay, this person is choosing this reality. And I get to choose if I'm going to sit in their reality or not. I'm not sitting in no one's fucking reality. I'm in my own. So much so, like, either they're going to get away from me, like, F this guy. Look at this. Be the best version of you. I even got the shirt. Like, they're going to, like, F him. I'm going to go bitch to someone who's going to listen to me, because he's listening to it, but he's not taking it in. Like, I don't have to believe in your game. I don't have to believe in your game. When me and you talk, you're my dude. You're Captain Rick, right? I love your game, and you love my game. So we connect. And with DJ, I'm loving her game. I don't know her, but from reading what I'm reading, thank you for all the amazing comments. And I love your game already. So if you want to come play, you can come play. But if I have a person who's like naysaying and complaining, and I'm like, man, your world must suck. Like, doesn't mean I have to jump into it, though.
Right. Hey, aloha, Russ. Thanks for tuning in, dude. Russ Manning just showed up.
What's up, Russ?
He said he likes your shirt, and what shirt are you wearing? Show that again. Come on,
be the best version of you.
Right.
It's interesting. Like, so I want to talk about even responding versus reacting. So I respond on a net positive. Like, whatever's going on, like, I know there's a solution somewhere, and I just respond that way. Our brains, they delete, distort, and delegate. And I want to say this lightly. I don't want anyone to take this too personally, but our brains actually go to a net negative, like if something bad is happening, because it keeps us safe. Like, bad, like the second we're like, oh, that's pain. Oh, that's pain. I got to avoid pain. And the truth is, we got to lean into pain, because we learn lessons when we lean into it.
Well, you got a story about that?
I do. So, when I was 5, this was a very rocking moment for me. And what's interesting, this is a personal story with my coach. I actually spoke with my coach on this, because he said, you take them through the story of life was ordinary and then it wasn't. And I go, Coach, I don't think I ever had an ordinary life. Like, from the start, I don't think it was ordinary, because I was strangely aware at a really young age. And the things that I went through, I really experienced them like an older individual. So what do I do? And he said, if you don't have an ordinary story, you don't have an ordinary story. You tell people your story. And so I bring up this 5-year-old kid who was in a hospital, and I knew something was wrong. Didn't know what it was. And I remember my uncle carrying me out of the hospital, and no one would tell me what was going on. But I was just super curious. I'm like, what is going on? Like, something's not right. Like, the energy feels off. I find out my grandfather passes away, and I see him in the casket, and I'm shaken up. And I mean, the thing that shook me up the most wasn't even the fact that it was my grandfather in the casket. It was that I was going to be in that casket one day. It was me seeing the reality of, I'm going to live and I'm going to die. I come from a religious background, and so I don't know what happens later on, I can't say, but I do know what I saw and what I was in front of. And at the time, I didn't know this was what I was doing with myself. I actually coached myself through that process because I was numb. Like I felt like I was there, but I wasn't there. And I just went into a coaching frenzy of, okay, how can I frame this in a way to give my power back? Because I can't live like this. And I turned, I'm going to die into, I have to live. Like I have to live as much life as I can. And so that's what I set out to do. Just living fully, living authentically. And strangely enough, not realizing a lot of people were living in autopilot because a lot of their dreams have been broken down from other people telling them what they can't do. And I was just going to be that light warrior to tell people what they can do. And not only tell people what they can do, live my life in a can do attitude. And so every time I show up to inspire, to be, and to remind people they're just like me. If you practice something long enough, you'll get great at it. So choose what you want to practice wisely.
Great stuff, man. Hey, practice, 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 practice. Hey, who's that guy? Dr. I think of Ho'oponopono
Mm-hmm.
and Dr. Haleakala. Yeah. Hugh Lynn Haleakala. And Dr. Hugh Lynn Haleakala he followed with this practice of Ho'oponopono, which is it's basically a forgiveness practice. It's a timeline practice. I mean, again, I've come back and I've interviewed a couple hundred people in different modalities and people that have mastered these, healing arts of healing in different modalities. And one of the things I found fascinating to this need for forgiveness, right? Because we all need this need for forgiveness, and where are we going? Because we've got this program, right? I mean, look at where we are in the world. We Judeo-Christian predominant view of the world, and it's very much Western culture. And you've got, so depending on your level of exposure in life, whether you've traveled or what's been your influence in life, is pretty much that it's a program, right? So you're oh, who do I want to be in with all of this information? And we're sharing this screen. But that Dr. Hugh Lynn Haleakala said clean. I mean, that was pretty much, he put together this program and it's just clean, just clean, constantly cleaning, just clean. And so he would just say, just clean,
Yeah.
it's clean your thoughts, clean it to what you want to experience. And so we're constantly cleaning, if you will. We're scrubbing, we're refining, we're tuning the vibration. This is an instrument, right? And we're tuning the vibration of what we're making music, guys. This is life. This is a dance. This is music. This is beauty. This is creation. And we're in it.
Yeah.
And we get to live it. And so don't, if you think you're the flower being pissed on, recognize that you're actually the tree, and it's the rain that's falling off of your branches that's actually watering the leaves on the ground. And so you're that. We're so much more than we ever even imagined. Like we don't even have to be sick. So I think that Russ is engaging with us, and we probably need to pay attention, because this dude is a wise man and he came to our council. This guy teaches. So Russ Manning he teaches permaculture. He has a farm in Colombia, teaches permaculture. and the farm's name is Love Grows. And so what does he say? Russ says, be mindful as to how and what you practice. If you practice bad form, you will continue to have bad form. That's where our friends and team can help us see our mistakes. Then we can change and improve. Bro, we should send Russ a link to come and join us and hang out for a couple minutes and
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. Send it to him.
Okay, I will.
DJ, this is an awesome Friday. Thank you, superstar. It's nice to meet you. Your heart will grow, your brain will mature into something greatness. Amen, Charles. Yeah. Yeah. And thank you all for your engagement. 100% appreciate it. It's been an absolute blessed, amazing experience.
I just get what I love about spending time with you is even though I can get lost in at times in my own thoughts, we always come back to what the purpose is.
Oh, absolutely.
And we never get back, you never get so far off. And I love spending time with you because I learn about myself and I learn how to help others along the way because I'm constantly improving myself. I'm not the same person that I was yesterday. If you watch the videos when I started doing live videos a couple years ago, yeah, I'm not the same person. I continue to grow. I continue to evolve.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah. So Russ, I sent you a link. If you can jump in, feel free. If not, it's cool. We love you.
So I want to really quickly give everyone an experience and let them know there's a fighter in every single one of you. We all have our fight that we're going to have to fight. And it might not be a physical fight, but the emotions are still very much the same. And so I'll tell you, when I would walk into my cage, I saw people watching me. And I knew that I had practiced in the best way that I could practice. I had trained in the best way that I could train. I had showed up fully as a professional. I was still nervous. The nerves are still there. Because when you take the test of life, you never truly know how it's going to show up. Even when you give your all. Even when you give your best. But the character you build along the way, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And so when I'd make my way into that cage, and it was real, the cage door would slam, and both fighters are looking at each other, knowing like this is about to go down. This is about to be very, very real. And both are looking for the exact same outcome. And both know only one person's going to get that outcome that day. And there's a respect there, an honor there. Like I respect every fighter that I fought, whether I got my hand raised or I didn't. And I'd go out there and the ref says, "You ready?" And both guys are never truly ready, but we nod like we're ready. And let's get it on. We go to touch gloves. And that's when everything that you've done before is showing up in that moment. Because everything's going so fast and so quick that you don't have time to think. If you think, you're in trouble. You have to be a person who can respond. If you're just reacting and you're freaking out, you're in trouble. But if all of those techniques, all of those abilities, all of that work you put in, even if you do lose, it's okay. Feels okay because you did everything that you came to do. And not only did you do everything, you stepped inside. You stepped inside the cage to see, who am I going to be today? And even if you are looking up at the lights, because sometimes that happens, you get to reflect and say, who am I going to be when I fall? Who am I going to be? See, the whole fight is a character builder. It's always a character builder. And we get to see how we show up before we step into our cage, when we're in the cage, and when we step out of the cage. But the truth is, we get 3 opportunities to respond and be great, and show up fully and be our fullest, most authentic experience self. And that's what greatness within means to me. Greatness within means there's a fighter in you, every one of you. And you might not always win the fight. And you might lose battle from battle. But if you can stand up and believe in your dream no matter what, believe in your goal no matter what, stand up for yourself no matter what, keep growing and sharpening and learning the tools and developing and hanging around the people you need to hang around. When you do that, everything's worth it.
Yes, it is. It's worth it. We sent it to you in Messenger, by the way, Russ. So if you didn't get it in Messenger, then that's where it's at. Clifford, you're off the hook, dude. This is indeed powerful, Adil says.
Thank you. Thank you. You're all a piece of me, you know, the truth of it. Rick, I consider you a mentor. You've helped me on my journey and my path. And Adil, it's a pleasure meeting you. DJ, I can't wait to meet you. I know we're going to connect eventually. And we might have to actually connect on Messenger so we can hop on a call sometime. I like connecting with people. I like connecting with people because it helps me show up as authentically and as powerfully as I can. Hey, what's up, Russ? Wow, it looks nice back there.
How we doing?
Great to see you.
I'm outdoors.
Very nice. I love it.
Very cool. Lovely. Listen to you guys. Nice to join you. So
Yeah,
you're obviously indoors, but just listening to your recollections of being in the cage. And I've not been in a cage, but I've been in the ring. I used to do Muay Thai, and
nice.
you know, boom.
Yeah,
Good
very
fun
cool.
place to learn about yourself.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely learn a lot about who you are.
Well, see, now Russ is actually from the UK and living in Colombia. He's got quite a broad experience. And I always say that even though he's teaching permaculture, this is so much beyond sustainability. And so the practices that he lives daily, that he's teaching, that he shares, is something that we might even only be able to get a glimpse of as a society as a whole, because truly where he's at right now, the practices are regenerative. They're rebuilding, recreating our earth. And most of the practices that we're experiencing, that we're living in right now, are actually quite destructive. It's just what it is. What we're evolving, we're growing. And Russ has been teaching some practices that I want to say are beyond sustainability, that really truly will make an incredible impact in humanity and in the planet. So Russ, I'm really glad you're here, man. Thanks for showing up. He's part of our inner circle in Pono Quest. Just a beautiful human being.
Yeah, man.
And
as you guys, we're a team. We do this together, right? And I think, you know, like regeneration is so important for us to have a future, for us to give a planet that our, the grandchildren of our generation are actually going to say thank you for giving us, what you've done, because right now we're in that transition period, right? If we continue as we have acted, then we're going to hit a brick wall at high speed. We know that. Everybody's kind of aware of that now. So we've got that moment of, okay, realization. Okay, we continue that way, we're fucked. So let's not change. Let's change, right? So now we can actually work together. What are the solutions? There's very easy solutions that are low-hanging fruit kind of solutions. There's harder ones, but we've got to work together. And everybody united, then we become the potential of humanity to become the most constructive element of our ecosystems, and that's our potential. And that's what I want to put across to anybody listening. Let's be our potential. Let's be our best. As his shirt suggested, that's so important that each one of us take responsibility for our own actions, but then we work together to really really make it happen, make the magic happen.
You know, Russ, I love how you present that. And one thing I've always focused on. So I started as a personal trainer, and I always showed up. You know, one of the most empowering things you can do for someone is really showing up. And I learned so much through that process. And one thing I learned was how to storytell. Because if I could storytell, I could keep a person from having cancer or keep a person from having a heart attack. I could tell the story and make it hit them in a way it's like, I need to change something. And I think it's important that we continue to tell the story that we are living on this planet and this planet is living on us. Like, we are united. We're united with all of life. And everything we do has a ripple effect. And so be aware of what you're doing. Be cautious and conscious of what you're doing consistently and asking, okay, am I helping or am I hurting? What am I doing? And check mark that. And we're not always perfect, but it's to say, how do I make things better? How do I come up with solutions? And meeting a guy like yourself, I'd love to talk deeper into it. But the more I know, the more of a contributor I can be as well.
Just show up on Wednesdays at the mastermind and you'll get to bam! Whoa! I got it in there. With nothing but love though, right? Because what's my intention?
Everybody's welcome.
Right? What's my intention?
Absolutely.
My intentions will always follow me. And I let my friends know how much I love them. You should too. Oh, thank you guys for showing up, man. How else can we serve today?
Who are you asking? Me or Russ or both of us?
Yeah, well, you know, I gotta sit back some days as a fly on the wall instead of trying to drive everything and everyone. And that's some magic. That's some magic right there.
Yeah, we're driving our cars around. I'm cool. Yeah, we all have our own car.
I think just by asking that question, how can I be the best me, right? Just so if we're going to move forward, we need to first of all recognize who we are and where we are, and then actually kind of acknowledge that, and then think about how could I improve. We can actually kind of actually self-analysis, or using the people around us, our friends, our colleagues, to help us. And sometimes that can be kind of hard to hear stuff you don't want to hear, but and I'm not talking to assholes who are just being overly critical for no good reason. I'm talking about your friends who can really give you good advice, and if you take it on board, then you can really move things forward quite quickly. And and then thinking about the way that we interact in society, with each other, the way that we're buying things. Here's a really important thing I want to say: every dollar, pound, euro, whatever currency, every one of those you spend is a vote for the kind of world you want. If you want Coca-Cola world, continue buying their products. If you want a sustainable, regenerative world, support local farmers, support local community, support companies that are promoting sustainability, and then you're voting, and it makes a difference. Point done.
Or I think what's happening though is
have a good one, Charles.
Yeah, good to see you, Charles. Thank you. Have a great weekend. And DJ, yeah, we'll just spend the time in Pono Quest. That's all you got to do. Everybody's there for you. Come take the journey to personal power, the journey to vision, or the journey to fulfillment, which is being cut right now. These are the places where these guys spend time. We got an inner circle that really feeds itself and feeds the souls and the hearts of everyone that they touch, because these guys are coming. They're coming all in. they're coming in 110%. They know who they are. They've given it everything that they have to show up for themselves so that you can show up behind them, so that they can see you showing up for you. It's kind of a crazy thing, but when we show up for ourselves, it really does give permission to others to show up for themselves. So lead the way by being what you want to experience.
Yeah. Always be responding. Might make a shirt that says that. Always be responding.
Mm. Well, I guess then you would know you're alive at least.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Even a reaction's better than, you know. So I love the place where if there's nothing left, you know, you're coming back to gratitude, right? If you even if you find yourself, you know, whining and crying and grumbling and moaning and bitching about shit you got no business whining and crying about, think about the gratitude, just the breath, just taking the breath. Think about where your feet are planted. Think about maybe peeling off your shoes and putting them onto the earth, like, and touching it. It's this concrete jungle that we live in. Okay, you and I, Clifford, like you're down in Arizona.
Mhm.
I'm in Washington. I'm a little bit greener, but you know, I get down to San Diego or I get into LA and I'm on a blacktop, or I get into, you know, Miami and I get into these big cities. It's a completely different energy because people are not touching the ground.
Mhm.
And when you get grounded and when you get centered, it's a whole nother energy. It's a whole nother level. So I just want to invite your audience too to get into the ground, to get your feet, to get barefoot into the ground and watch what that does for your body. Watch what that does for your soul. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like being a little kid again, you know?
I love it. I love it. So ultimately, like the exercise that you mentioned, gratitude, and also knowing like, okay, what's one thing you can be grateful for? Because when you're grateful for one thing, it can spread into many. And keeping it super simple and just focusing on the one. What's the one thing? And even with victim mentality or people having difficult times, or even with what Russ was talking about, us sustaining the world, you know, taking care of our world, the sooner we go into a positive, the sooner we go into a gratitude. True gratitude is experiencing that gratitude. And when you experience that gratitude, like if I say like I love my son, I can't just say it. I have to be about that. I have to act as if I love my son. I have to do those things. And so when we are grateful, when we do have gratitude, act in the gratitude that you're having. You know, truly experience it and embrace it. Because just as I said, I'm so grateful that I get to breathe. And I'm going to appreciate that moment that I'm breathing in such a way by being present of the breath and also exercising, because I know my breath gets better with exercise. I breathe better with exercise. Mind, body, and business. You know, that's what I'm talking about. Mind, body, and business. If we can get everything in alignment in the right way and show up in the right way, we're all better for doing so.
Totally true.
Thank you, Cliff. Thank you for putting this on and letting me show up as a guest, and Russ for showing up and just playing it all in. So
Yeah. I appreciate Chiara and DJ. It was a pleasure. Adil, thank you as always. I think Charles is gone, but I appreciate him being on as well. And Russ, it was a pleasure connecting with you. I look forward to learning more about who you are and what you do. And it sounds like you're going to be a world changer. I'm looking to help a billion lives. So We're already on the same mission.
We're on the same
We're doing it,
planet.
baby.
We're doing it.
Yes, yes. Perfect. Well, all right, my superstars, you all have an amazing day. Remember, there's greatness in you always. Respond, don't react. Have gratitude and go be great.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Woohoo!